Breaking overnight, the Trump administration releases a new plan to reunite the more than 2,000 kids separated at the border. Why there are still questions over who will implement the new policy. Plus, newly released videos giving us a new look at the rampage outside Lambeau Field in December. What happened in the moments before police responded. And making Madison even more bike-friendly. A new bike-sharing station is coming to the city's east side this week. The activities and giveaways planned for its launch. Your news starts right now.
This is News 3 This Morning, Sunday.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us for News 3 This Morning, Sunday, 6:30 now on this June 24th. I'm Josh Ryder with meteorologist Chris Reese. And Chris, spectacular Saturday. It looks like today's looking pretty good as well.
Today's does look pretty good. Now, we do have the slightest chance of a shower or thunderstorm into the afternoon. But for the most part, today will be a fairly pleasant day already. It's a beautiful morning out there. Here's the cloud deck moving away from us, allowing that sunshine to take over. We did have that round of cloud cover come through yesterday afternoon. But today, that round of cloud cover is out of here. Temperatures already in the 60s this morning. Dew points are a little bit higher in the upper 50s. There's going to be a bit more moisture to the atmosphere, and that will be ticking up as we go through the next couple of days, awaiting a warm front that's going to be moving in from the south and west as we get you into your Monday. 50s and 60s is the name of the game this morning. Wautoma at 61 right now. Waukesha also at 61, and then down in Janesville, they are also at 61. We zoom out just a little bit, and the entire region has temperatures in the 50s and 60s, other than Superior and Marquette, which are in the 40s right now, but I feel like that's expected of them for this time of the year. As we go through the rest of the day, we'll watch our temperatures pretty much rise to about 80 degrees or so. Some folks in the low 80s. Further north, you'll see your temperature staying in the 70s for your highs this afternoon. The only difference today, other than yesterday, we will have that chance of a pop-up shower or thunderstorm with the peak heating of the day with all the humidity that will be working its way back. It won't be overbearingly humid, but you'll notice there's a bit more moisture to the atmosphere. Traffic-wise, so far, so good this morning. Downtown looks good as well with the roads that are now reopened after being closed yesterday, so that's certainly some good news. Coming in from pretty much any part of Dane County, it's going to take you your normal time. You'll have no issues.
You know, I think we deserved a quiet weekend with some sunshine.
That's right. We certainly did, and the start of this week is going to get a little busier in the weather department, so enjoy this weekend.
All right, Chris, thank you.
No problem.
We begin with a first alert traffic note ahead of your morning commute tomorrow. The 400 block of North Lake Street will be closed starting at 7 Monday morning. That's the block between State Street and University Avenue. Construction crews will take down the tower crane at the site of the new UW Music Performance Center. The State Street campus parking garage will still be open, but you'll have to come in through the Langdon Street entrance. Metro buses will also have detours because of that closure. Routes 4, 6, and 29 will be taking Johnson and Gorham streets to avoid the area. You can find the details on cityofmadison.com/metro. If you're looking for a ride over to the Goodman Community Center this summer, you'll soon be able to get there on 2 wheels. A new bicycle or B-cycle bike sharing station is coming to this center on the east side. You'll be able to rent out the bikes or make a stop there from the Cap City Trail. Tomorrow from 4:30 to 6, Goodman is throwing a launch party to welcome the B-Cycle station, sponsored by Trek Bikes. There will be a group bike rides, giveaways, and ice cream treats from Sheps. Breaking overnight, the Trump administration is releasing its plan for putting back together the thousands of families that separated at the border, but the reunion won't happen quickly. In a release late last night, the Departments of Homeland Security and Health and Human Services said more than 2,000 children were still in the custody of HHS and awaiting being returned to their parents. Under the plan, families will be reunited with their parents after their deportation proceedings are completed. If the parents have to be deported, they'll be reunited with their kids before being removed from the country. But if the parents stay in the U.S., they'll have to apply to serve as the child's sponsor. It's still unclear whose responsibility it will be to connect parents with their kids. We'll have much more on this new plan in the next half hour of News 3 This Morning, Sunday. Newly released video is giving us a new look at the car rampage in the Lambeau Field parking lot in December. The video is from the Don Hudson Center across the street. It shows Che Vang in his white Pontiac Firebird on the right side of the screen driving through the parking lot when it smashes several times into a line of parked cars. Police say Vang was upset after being fired from a food service company. No one was hurt in the incident, though it prompted a massive police response as some assumed Vang had a gun and would start shooting. Right now, one man is in custody this morning after police say he tried to steal upwards of 50 pairs of shoes from Easttown Mall. Madison police received a call Friday about a retail theft at Dick's Sporting Goods. Police say the 45-year-old man allegedly took other items from Marshall's before he was arrested. The stolen goods were worth nearly $1,800. Right now, more than 70 people are suing the catering company Del Monte after they say their vegetable trays made them sick. These trays, sold all over Wisconsin and Minnesota at Quick Trip gas stations, had vegetable trays tainted by cyclospora parasite commonly found in third world countries. Quick Trip pulled the product from its shelves and says it is complying with health officials and state investigations. Time now 6:35 this morning. The sun is already out on this Sunday morning. Another welcome sight this weekend. A live look over the Capitol this Sunday morning. How much longer can we expect this sunshine to stick around and this dry stretch of weather to last? Chris will have the answer in your first alert forecast. And a News 3 exclusive. We sit down with a local woman who continues to break barriers in the military. Her story when we come back on News 3.
A beautiful morning with crystal blue skies that we have outside. Happy Sunday to all of you. Today's one of those days where Sunday will actually live up to its name in terms of the sunshine that we'll see, though there is a chance of a shower or thunderstorm to pop up for a few of us later on this afternoon. Temperatures right now are in the 60, 61 here in Madison, same down in Janesville. A little bit cooler as you work your way over towards Lone Rock. That's where temperatures are in the 50s right now. Camp Douglas at 55 degrees. We are all pretty much in the 50s and 60s. Radar shows no showers or thunderstorms out there right now, but we'll zoom out just a little bit. Pay attention to what's happening over southwestern Minnesota. You see a line of showers and thunderstorms that's gradually working its way to the east. It's not all that impressive. It has a few showers sparking down in Iowa as well. That will be the weather maker for this afternoon in particular. Now, it's not going to be a big widespread rain, but you'll notice to the afternoon, once we get the peak heating of the day going, you might see a pop-up shower or thunderstorm or two. Not everyone will get on that, and then just as quickly as the sun goes down, we'll turn off that chance for some showers or thunderstorms, temperatures staying in the 70s. But the bigger picture is all a part of a region of low pressure that's going to be gathering steam across the Midwest right now. So that region of low pressure pretty much in the Dakotas, you've got a warm front stretched southward through parts of Minnesota and down through Missouri. That will be gradually working its way to the east as we go through the next couple of days. It's going to be very slow moving, but through Monday afternoon and evening, you'll notice the clouds beginning to increase along with those shower chances into Tuesday as this region of low pressure essentially just kind of wounds up. By Tuesday afternoon, we could all really be getting in on some decent shower and thunderstorm chances with winds starting to come in out of the south and west. We'll zoom in on that just so you can see the nature of this. We'll have winds out of the southeast initially as that warm front moves in, and then that region of low pressure tracking pretty much right over Wisconsin will bring in those greatest rain chances into Tuesday. Today, this morning, we'll watch our temperatures rise from the 60s and into the mid 70s by lunchtime. Then as we get you into this afternoon, 80 degrees with the slight chance of a thunderstorm developing. Again, not everyone gets wet with the showers and thunderstorms, but the chance is there. 78 and pleasant for your Monday. Then we have the next chance for showers and thunderstorms that does arrive late Monday night and into Tuesday. Check this out. By next weekend, we could see temperatures hitting 90 once again.
Well, we'll take this nice weather while we can then.
We absolutely should.
All right, Chris, thank you.
My pleasure, Josh.
Right now, Madison College is trying something new in hopes of encouraging more diversity among firefighters. It's showing people, especially women, what life is like on the job. Less than 10% of firefighters are women, according to the National Fire Protection Association. Saturday, Madison College hosted a day-long training event specifically geared for women. MATC fire instructor Amanda Hornung says when it comes to firefighting, gender doesn't matter.
If you look at men and women, it's not just about strength, it's about, technique and working as part of a team.
At Madison College, students can get a Fire Protection Technician Associate's degree and a Fire Service certification. 6:42 this morning, a Sun Prairie woman has never been one to shy away from a challenge. Right now, she's taking on a new leadership role and making history in the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Only News 3's Susan Simon has her story.
The Wisconsin National Guard is the primary combat reserve for the Army and Air Force and the first military responders here at home. And for the first time, there's a woman in command.
It's like a dream come true. I never thought I would ever be in this role. I never in my wildest dreams.
Earlier this month, Joni Matthews became Deputy Adjutant General for Army, the second highest position in the state. Only Adjutant General Don Dunbar outranks her. What are your responsibilities in this role?
I am basically the guide. I give mentorship and guidance to the commanders and all the soldiers. There's about 7,000 Army National Guard soldiers in Wisconsin.
General Matthews first made history in the Senate chamber in 2016.
Hi, Joni K. Matthews.
Governor Walker promoted her to Brigadier General, making Matthews the first woman as well as first Native American to serve as general in the Wisconsin Army National Guard. What is the significance of that, and what did it mean to you to be that person?
I don't really look at myself as, as the first, as leading the way. I just look at myself as me being me and just doing the best I can. A lot of people tell me that, it's really great to be first, and it is really good to be first, but I didn't get there alone. I didn't get to be first alone.
Her accomplishments are a milestone for women and Native Americans. Matthews grew up on the Lac du Flambeau Indian Reservation in northern Wisconsin.
I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud of my culture. When I was growing up on the reservation, unfortunately, I didn't appreciate it as much as I should have. I should have asked my grandparents their stories, about the boarding schools and about living on the reservation and getting names given to them because nobody could pronounce their Indian name. And my dad, talking only Ojibwe in the home. And I didn't really ask those questions, and I wish I would have now.
Over her 30-year career, including 11 years on active duty, General Matthews has a long history of firsts.
When did the military first become an idea for you?
I've always thought about the military. My dad served in the Army. He was a paratrooper for the 101st. And I've had uncles and cousins that have served. So when I was in college, I decided to take an ROTC class because I just wanted to put my foot in the water and see if I liked it. And I liked it.
General Matthews received her ROTC commission in 1986. At Fort Rucker, Alabama, she flew helicopters and was a flight instructor, one of only 20 women in a class of 100.
So all the students would come in at one time in this large classroom, and I was the only female instructor. And the two students, young students, came up and sat by me and they said, "Are you our instructor?" Like, yes. Do you have a problem with that?
General Matthews served in Germany, where she deployed to Turkey and northern Iraq as part of Operation Provide Comfort.
When I came back to the States, my parents were getting older and I just wanted to come back home and spend time with family. And lo and behold, I joined the Guard, and that was one of the best decisions I've made in my life. Every job I had coming up until now has been challenging, has been rewarding. The military is a great family, and it's a teamwork environment. I learned so much along the way, and I love it. It's not a lot of people can say they love coming to work every day. I love coming to work every day.
General Matthews lives in Sun Prairie with her husband and 2 daughters.
Will your daughters follow in your footsteps, do you think?
One of them is thinking about it. The other one wants to go into education and history. She wants to teach. The other daughter is thinking about it. She's been to the military youth camps quite a few times, and she's come to several military events. She's very patriotic. She loves the service. So we'll see.
Currently, there are more than 1,400 women in the Wisconsin Army National Guard, representing 21% of the force. 6:47 this Sunday morning, calming the storm brewing inside as the summer storm season intensifies. A local family is sharing their story of dealing with storm-related PTSD after a tornado hit their neighborhood. What ways you can help your kids through storm anxiety when News 3 This Morning Sunday continues.
We've been tracking a lot of sunshine this morning, and that is what we are going to see for the rest of this morning. Temperatures in the 60s right now. We'll watch those temperatures rise into the mid-70s towards lunchtime. Once we get you into the peak heating of the afternoon, we could see a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm popping up. For some of us, high temperatures will be right around 80 degrees. Josh.
All right, Chris, thank you. The fear of storms is a very common phobia in children, but for one family in Verona, the worst fears came true after a tornado ripped through their neighborhood. Owen Davis was 7 years old when an EF3 tornado destroyed part of his home and elementary school. Dave Caulfield has more on how he was finally able to calm the storm inside.
What comes to your mind when I say June 17th?
Tornadoes.
In this neighborhood, a lot of damage.
Bad weather.
When you see some of the damage in Verona, it's hard to believe.
Owen Davis used to dream of being a storm chaser. 4 years ago,
I got woken up and I was downstairs and I had no idea what was going on.
that dream became a nightmare when a tornado moved through his house in the middle of the night.
The power went out and then we got really scared. It was just over really fast.
Owen's dad went upstairs to check on the house while Mom Shannon stayed with the kids in the basement. When Dad came back,
And you could tell he was already in shock. He said, "It's gone." And I said, "What's gone?" He said, "The garage, everything's gone."
the garage roof landed in the backyard. Tree limbs skewered the siding of the home. Their car with 19 miles on it ruined. Owen stayed at his grandparents' that night and didn't see the damage until the next day.
I actually came home that day, but we couldn't go near it. So I just saw it and I was like, oh no. Now I realized what actually happened. So I was just like in astonishment.
The following months were filled with cleanup and construction. Owen helped out in any way he could.
Everybody was kind of sad and stuff. So I kind of went around and tried to make people have a better mood and lighten up.
For a while, Owen was doing great. But the following summer, the trauma he experienced took its toll.
Well, I would always be constantly checking the weather app when I got a phone at first. And I'd be just like always looking out at the sky.
He was just like paralyzed almost. You know, he wanted to stay in the basement and didn't want to come out. You know, he didn't want to hear the sirens. And he'd be telling us about tornado warnings states away, like in Kansas or, you know, in Iowa. "Mom, there's a tornado warning in Iowa."
And I didn't really like notice it, but everybody said I was just really nervous. And so then I was like, what do I do? And then I noticed there was a storm. And so like I just like realized what I was doing. I was like, oh crap, I am nervous.
After some initial hesitation, Owen started going to therapy to talk about his storm-induced anxiety.
Owen was finally making progress, but he suffered a major setback last fall when his house was struck by lightning, undoing months of hard work.
So then we had to go through it kind of all over again, which probably is why we were struggling.
Sometimes it can just get in the way of them being able to function.
Britt Kuhlman, a child and family therapist at SSM Health, works to help children through the stress of storms and to change their way of thinking about thunder and tornadoes.
The negative outcome in their head is a lot bigger than the real outcome. So that the fact that their brain is exaggerating the possibility of something bad happening.
Owen's breakthrough came when his doctor suggested he redefine the question, what if?
He's like, but what if? That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. It just means it could happen, but probably won't. It's probably never going to be as bad as it was, and I'm probably going to be fine.
Another thing that helps Owen is distracting himself when bad weather hits. Since the lightning strike, he's picked up the kendama, a Japanese skill toy to get him through stormy times. Owen still checks his phone sometimes, but with the support of his family, friends, and doctor, he is conquering his anxiety. He has this message for those battling through a similar situation.
If it gets really bad, then you should talk to somebody about it and try and get some help.
Britt Kuhlman with SSM Health says having not just a severe weather plan is important, you should also have a coping plan for your kids. If storms happen in the middle of the night, what's the game plan? Map that out ahead of time. Also acknowledge this kind of fear, but don't let storm anxiety deter your children from normal activities. That might help create a sense of normalcy during severe weather. If your child refuses to do normal activities when a storm rolls in, or they can't seem to do anything else but worry, you should talk to your doctor. If you need help starting a conversation about this kind of stress, anxiety in general, or any other mental health related topic, we have resources available on our Time to Talk page right now. Just visit channel3000.com/timeforkids for more. Coming up on 6:56 now. Still to come on News 3 This Morning Sunday, more on the Trump administration's new policy for reuniting parents with their kids at the border. But first, here's a preview of what's to come on an all-new For the Record.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Neil Heinen, and today on For the Record, we'll be talking about something that isn't talked about enough during the summer months, and that's food insecurity. We're all familiar with winter holiday food drives, and they're important, but kids and families going to bed hungry is sadly a year-round issue. So WISC-TV is partnering with the Goodman Community Center to recruit you to be hunger heroes and provide summer meals. And I'll be talking with Goodman Center Executive Director Becky Steinhoff and Center Assistant Director for Child Care Programs Angela Tortorisi. And that's coming up this morning at 10:30 on WISC-TV.
Right now, confusion at the border. Who will enforce the Trump administration's newly announced policy to reunite kids with their parents?
This is News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning Sunday, 7 o'clock now on this June 24th. I'm Josh Breiter. Chris will have your forecast in just a second, but first let's get to today's top stories. Students from Parkland, Florida are taking their drive for change to Milwaukee. Overnight, hundreds in the Milwaukee community welcomed the survivors turned activists who were at Stoneman Douglas High School when a shooter opened fire on Valentine's Day, killing 17. The Parkland students spent time registering Milwaukee area students in the upcoming midterm elections. The summer bus tour called Road to Change is making more than 50 stops in 20 states pushing for gun reform. Right now, more than 70 people are suing catering company Del Monte. They say the vegetable trays made them sick. These trays, sold all over Wisconsin and Minnesota at Quick Trip gas stations, had vegetables tainted by Cyclospora parasite, commonly found in third world countries. Quick Trip pulled the product from its shelves and says it is complying with health officials and state investigators. A heads up for drivers ahead of your Monday morning commute. The 400 block of North Lake Street will be closed starting at 7 tomorrow morning, so construction crews can take down the tower crane at the site of the new UW Music Performance Center. That's the block between State Street and University Avenue. The State Street campus parking garage will still be open, but you'll have to come in through the Langdon Street entrance. If you're looking for a ride over to the Goodman Community Center this summer, you'll soon be able to get there on 2 wheels. There's a new B-Cycle bike sharing station coming to the center on the east side. You'll be able to rent out the bikes or make a stop there from the Cap City Trail tomorrow morning from 4:30 to 6. Goodman is throwing a launch party to welcome the B-Cycle station. It's sponsored by Trek Bikes. There will be group bike rides, giveaways, and ice cream treats from chefs. Finally, some pleasant weather to use those bikes. Chris, good morning.
Good morning, Josh. That's right. It's a lot of pleasant weather that we do have out there. Beautiful day that we have out so far. The sun has risen. A little bit of cloud cover off in the horizon. That will not bother us as we go throughout the rest of the day. Already, it is 65 degrees here in town. Dew points at 60, so it will be a little bit more humid as you step outside today. Working our way to the west, temperatures are still pretty much in the 50s and 60s as well. Actually, the 50s have left the picture. La Crosse at 67 degrees as of now. We'll zoom things out just a little bit. 47 degrees in Superior. That's expected for this time of the year. But everyone, for the most part, is in the 50s and 60s this morning. We'll watch our temperatures rise to about 80 degrees into the afternoon and upper 80s or mid 80s as you work your way further to the south. But with the added moisture to the air and the added heat that we'll have today, I cannot rule out the possibility of a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm popping up. So look for that possibility, especially as we get you towards 3 or 4 o'clock or so. Not everyone will get wet, but the chance is there for a few of us. Otherwise, most of us will see a lot of sunshine going through the most part of your Sunday. Traffic-wise, things continue to look great this Sunday morning. Downtown is rolling smoothly as well. And pretty much if you're coming in from anywhere in Dane County, it'll take you your normal drive time, a little bit of a slowdown coming in on US 12 from Sauk City to Middleton. It'll take you about 24 minutes there. Everyone else, you're in good shape.
All right, Chris, thank you. Breaking overnight, the Trump administration has released its plan for reuniting the thousands of parents it separated at the border, but it won't happen quickly. In a release late last night, the Departments of Homeland Security and Health and Human Services said more than 2,000 children were still in the custody of HHS and awaiting to be reunited with their parents. Under the plan, families will be returned after the parents' deportation proceedings are completed. If the parents have to be deported, they'll be reunited with their kids before moving or being removed from the country. But if the parents stay in the U.S., they'll have to apply to serve as their child sponsor. It's still unclear whose responsibility it will be to connect parents with their kids. That newly released plan comes just hours after an immigration rally here in Madison. Community members took to State Street Saturday to speak out against the Trump administration's zero-tolerance immigration policy. Hundreds of people gathered on Library Mall before marching to the state capitol. A nationwide Families Belong Together protest is also being organized for next Saturday. These protests and policies are happening after a whirlwind week in Washington. The president says his executive order ending the practice may be limited. And the First Lady attempted to show her compassion with a visit to the border, but appeared to step on her own message with her fashion choice. Jim Acosta has more.
It was a tale of two Trumps. While the First Lady attempted to show sympathy visiting the children taken from their migrant parents at the border, the president was creating more confusion, telling his cabinet that his executive order aimed at ending the family separations is limited.
I signed a very good executive order yesterday, but that's only limited, no matter how you cut it. it leads to separation ultimately.
The president also tried to downplay the conditions inside the facilities where the children are being held against their will.
We have a situation where some of these places, they're really running them well. It's the nicest that people have seen.
Mr. Trump was playing politics, accusing Democrats of seeking to turn the detention spaces into resorts.
They want us to take care of bed space and resources and personnel and take everybody and, you know, like, let's run the most luxurious hotel in the world for everybody. But they don't want to give us the money.
The president also falsely accused Democrats of sparking the crisis his administration started.
They've created, and they've let it happen, a massive child smuggling industry.
Despite the searing images of suffering children seen around the world, the president sounded detached and bitter.
They walk through Mexico like it's walking through Central Park.
Democrats pushed back on the notion they're to blame.
You know what my strong reaction to that is? It's a lie. So for the president to constantly say that we are against immigration reform, that makes sense, that is humane, it's a lie. And in fact, he is the one who is creating chaos at every turn.
Thank you so much. I heard you have like 58 children here.
Today we have 55.
55?
Yes.
Oh,
we were
so,
here by 3.
Down at the border, the First Lady toured one facility for the separated children that looked more like an elementary school and less like the jail shown in some photos from the region. Mrs. Trump wanted to know how the children are coping.
When the children come here, what kind of stage, you know, physical and mental stage they come here?
Usually when they get here, they're very distraught.
And she asked how she could lend a hand.
And I also like to ask you how I can help to these children to reunite with their families as quickly as possible.
But it was the message on her back that created a stir. I really don't care, do you? Was the question scrawled across the jacket she wore as she left for Texas. The First Lady's office said in a statement there was no hidden message.
These parent-child separations have all happened in less than 2 months. Political, faith, human rights leaders, and many Americans protesting have called them immoral and un-American. Happening now, Planned Parenthood is suing the federal government. Multiple affiliates filed litigation in district courts in Spokane, Washington, and New York. The organization is accusing the Department of Health and Human Services of making changes to its funding guidance that favor abstinence-only approaches to curbing teen pregnancy. As trade tensions between the world's 2 largest economies escalate, the U.S. agriculture industry is on high alert. Last week, Beijing announced a 25% tariff on soybeans, causing tensions to mount. Soybeans are America's leading agriculture export, but more than $21 billion in sales last year. A whopping 62% of soybean exports go to China. According to economists at Purdue University, the Chinese tariffs could slash total U.S. soybean production by 17%. 7:08 right now. President Trump is back in Washington this morning after a whirlwind trip to Las Vegas, meeting with supporters and addressing the Nevada Republican Party convention. The president touched on everything from North Korean leader Kim Jong-un to immigration and tariffs.
Now we have to work on our trade with China because it's been very tough on our country for very many years. Our presidents did nothing about it. And we probably lost last year $500 billion in trade to China. Think of it, $500 billion.
The President Trump says he needs more Republicans in the Senate to be able to pass everything from an infrastructure package to comprehensive immigration reform. This weekend marks the 2nd anniversary of the Brexit referendum, where British people voted to leave the UK or leave the European Union. Thousands of people marched through central London Saturday, asking the UK government to give British people a vote on the final Brexit deal. The rally was organized by several pro-EU campaign groups. Organizers say that if a Brexit deal is rejected by the UK Parliament, British people should have to vote on any final terms of UK's exit out of the EU. Just about 7:10 right now. There's still some new gun safety advice for parents, and more Americans are quitting a bad habit. The day's top health headlines are just ahead. And it's a new type of musical giving kids of all abilities hope and inspiration that they really can do anything. The news is back in the morning right here on News 3 This Morning, Sunday.
Happy Sunday to all of you out there. We are tracking another beautiful day across South Central Wisconsin. Lots of sunshine will be in store, but there is a chance of a shower or thunderstorm later on. A live look downtown shows you the beautiful conditions. Temperatures are already in the mid-60s this morning. Dew points also up a little bit. That's going to mean it'll feel slightly more humid today. It won't be overbearing by any means. Temperatures pretty much all are in the low to mid-60s across southern Wisconsin this morning. And we'll watch our temperatures rise into the 70s later on. Right now, there is no rain or no thunderstorms to talk about, but as you work your way back to the west, look across north central Iowa and southwestern Minnesota. That is the next weather maker that'll be moving through, and that little impulse could spark off an isolated shower or thunderstorm for us here in south central Wisconsin as we get you into the afternoon. It's mainly going to be with the peak heating, so you get into the early afternoon. Once temperatures spike towards about 80 degrees, you have the added moisture. You may see a thunderstorm or two pop up. I actually think Future Track's a little bit overdone in terms of the coverage and intensity, but just as soon as those pop up, they'll rain themselves out. They'll get on out of here. We'll have the clear skies back into the picture into the afternoon and evening. The bigger rain chance is going to come towards the first part of your work week. A region of low pressure over the Midwest right now will be slowly working its way towards the east and gathering some steam as it does so. And eventually that warm front will lift on through here on Monday afternoon into Tuesday. That's where we'll see the first round of some showers and thunderstorms, and those will linger until the cold front gets on through on Wednesday to sweep a lot of that out. So as you get into Monday afternoon, pay attention to the southwestern sky. That's where a lot of the rain showers will be coming from. By Tuesday morning, lots of folks will be getting in on the rain and thunderstorm action. That'll linger through Tuesday night and into early Wednesday morning as that region of low pressure tracks right on top of us. This morning, temperatures will range from 62 to 75 degrees. It'll feel good as well. This afternoon, a little uncomfortable, but not all too bad. Temperatures right around 80 degrees. You'll have that slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm popping up again. Not everyone gets wet when that comes on through. 78 for your Monday, a chance of showers and thunderstorms arriving into the afternoon on Monday. That'll linger through Tuesday and early Wednesday. Then by next weekend, we could see temperatures in the 90s, upper 80s, hot and humid in the extended forecast.
Oh boy, here comes the heat.
That's right. So we want to appreciate what we have out there now because later things do look different, Josh.
All right, Chris. Thank you.
My pleasure.
We've been asking you to share your morning with us. Check out this picture. Matt Graff emailed this. You can check out, looks like a farm field there, maybe the sunrise. Beautiful picture there. Thanks for sharing, Matt. What does your morning look like? Be sure to take a picture and post it on the Channel 3000 Facebook page or on Twitter using the hashtag MyNews3Morning. We'll share our favorites right here on News 3 This Morning. 7:16 right now. Fewer Americans are smoking than ever before. The latest estimates from the CDC show about 14% of all U.S. adults smoke cigarettes. That's the lowest level ever recorded since tracking began more than 50 years ago. Researchers also found people living in larger cities smoke significantly less than people who live in rural areas. The American Academy of Pediatrics has a new recommendation for parents before sending their kids off on a play date. They're suggesting parents ask about the presence of guns before sending their children to a new home to play. They say parents should find out if there is a gun in the residence and how it is stored. Nearly 1.7 million children live in a home with a loaded, unlocked firearm. EpiPens save lives, but a new study shows most adults aren't using them. It shows 52% of adults with potentially life-threatening allergies don't use their injectors in an emergency. People said they either didn't have their EpiPen with them or thought it wasn't necessary to use it. A new musical is giving kids with special needs hope. Addie and Uno is an off-Broadway show in New York City. It features puppets that spotlight disabilities and inclusion. Uno has autism, Addie has ADHD, and RJ has cerebral palsy. The show was recently nominated for an Off-Broadway Alliance Award.
We believe very strongly in inclusion, so we love to see a play about inclusion.
It's also fabulous for young people with disabilities to see themselves. They can do anything they want to do.
And sit comfortably through the entire thing. A composer for the show is a UW-Madison graduate. It's not every day we have to put on a crash helmet to cover a story. Just ahead, that was what the case was when Mark Cain went behind the wheel with Harvey Briggs and the Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk. Hang on for launch control. The news is back in the morning right here on News 3 This Morning, Sunday.
Good Sunday morning, another beautiful day that we do have in store. It'll be very similar to yesterday, but there is a slight difference that comes into the picture. We'll talk about that in just 1 second. Right now, crystal blue sky, a little bit of haze is noted on the WISC-TV camera. Temperatures already in the mid-60s this morning. We're going to watch our temperatures rise all the way up towards 80 degrees for those highs this afternoon. The difference, we will have a chance of a shower or thunderstorm that does come into the picture. By 5 o'clock, we'll turn any shower and thunderstorm chances off, and then temperatures cooling back down through the 60s into the upper 50s by tomorrow morning. Josh.
Thanks, Chris. Check out this crazy video released by the Ohio Department of Transportation showing a motorist driving backwards on and off the highway. Thankfully, no injuries were reported in this incident. Officials speculated the car may have been suffering from transmission issues and was perhaps stuck in reverse. The department reminded drivers the safest thing to do in a situation like this is pull over and call for help. In the past, when the News 3 team went behind the wheel with Harvey Briggs, we tested compact cars, gigantic pickups, and fun convertibles. This time, we're trying out something utterly ridiculous and utterly spectacular. It's safe to say Mark Cain had no idea what he was getting himself into.
So I got this text from Harvey. He says to meet at the Madison International Speedway. I thought we were doing a Jeep Cherokee today. Why would I need to meet here at the Speedway? What's this? What the heck is this? Are you kidding me?
I am not kidding you.
A Jeep Cherokee?
This
is the Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk.
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 So that's why we're meeting.
That's why we're meeting at Madison International Speedway, because this Jeep is designed to be driven on a racetrack.
Supercharged?
Supercharged, V8, good old-fashioned Detroit muscle.
How much Detroit muscle? 707 horsepower, 685 pound-feet of torque. The supercharged Hemi that runs the Hellcat series, the Charger and Challenger, crammed under the hood of a full-size SUV. What could go wrong? Well, it turns out it's almost everything right. So it is track worthy.
It is track worthy, and you, my friend, are about to find out.
Let's go. Some numbers: 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. Top speed, somewhere around 180.
You know, this is the quickest SUV you can buy. So ever. So you could spend $250,000 on a Bentley Bentayga, which has a V12 engine. This will beat it, 0 to 60.
And there are gigantic brakes to stop this beast. And it is a beast that knocks you around, pushes you back in your seat, and at the same time makes you giggle, especially when you engage launch mode. That is as intimidating as it sounds.
We are going to launch this thing.
I'm not real comfortable having to wear a helmet on a test drive, Harvey.
We've got 707 horsepower. We've got an open racetrack. We're waiting for the pressure to build up.
Seatbelt on.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Launch mode. 3, 2, 1.
Holy It is hard to describe what it feels like going from a dead stop to 60 miles an hour in a little over 3 seconds. But then again, why try to describe it? Just listen. It begs the question, why?
Why? This is literally a Sir Edmund Hillary car because it's there. They really just made this because they could. They wanted to demonstrate what they could do. It brings attention to the Jeep brand in a different way. And it brings people into dealerships just to look at this thing. If this is what you want, this is the only game in town.
So it's actually somehow a bargain.
If you got the money in your pocket, you will enjoy every second behind the wheel of this thing.
Now, for the record, the Trackhawk is most at home at a track. Please don't use launch control on your cul-de-sac, but you can use this Jeep as a day-to-day car. There's SUV storage. It'll tow over 7,000 pounds, but keep in mind that rumble follows you home. You might want to alert your neighbors. And this top-of-the-line Grand Cherokee is filled with everything you'd expect at the top of the line, outside and in, and you should, because all this power, all of this fun, all of this nice stuff ain't cheap. Our test car, $90,800 for a Jeep, and it's worth every single cent.
The base car, the base Trackhawk is $85,000, but then again, you can start a Grand Cherokee at around $30,000. So again, it's about which engine you put in, how much of the performance you put in. They're all all-wheel drive. They're all with an 8-speed automatic transmission. They're all very capable cars. It's just, you know, do you get the great seats and the carbon fiber and the total navigation and the rest of it? And you get this massive Hellcat engine. Yes! Yes, you do!
Wow. Well, 7:27 is your time now. Still ahead this morning, an update on the deadly crash in downtown Madison. Plus, what's ahead on the final day of the AmFam Championship. We have highlights and celebrity sightings from University Ridge just ahead on News 3 This Morning, Sunday. Right now, some major celebrity sightings at the AmFam Championship. A look of what's in store for the final day of tournament play.
This is News 3 This Morning Sunday.
And a very good morning to you and welcome to News 3 This Morning Sunday, 7:30 now on this June 24th. I'm Josh Breiter. Chris will have your Sunday forecast in just a minute, but first let's get you caught up on this morning's headlines. Developing right now, the Trump administration released its plan overnight for reunited families that separated at the border. But the reunion won't happen quickly. Under the new plan, families will be reunited after their parents' deportation proceedings are completed. If the parents have to be deported, they'll be reunited with their kids before being removed from the country. But if the parents stay in the U.S., they'll have to apply to serve as their child sponsor. It's still unclear whose responsibility it will be to connect parents with their kids. More than 2,000 children are still separated from their parents. Students from Parkland, Florida are taking their drive for change to Milwaukee. Overnight, hundreds in the Milwaukee community welcomed the survivors turned activists who were at Stoneman Douglas High School when a shooter opened fire on Valentine's Day, killing 17. The Parkland students spent time registering Milwaukee area students in the upcoming midterm elections. The summer bus tour called Road to Change is making more than 50 stops in 20 states pushing for gun reform. Right now, one person is still recovering this morning after a fiery crash left another person dead. This happened early Saturday at John Nolan Drive and South Blair Street in downtown Madison. Officers say both cars were engulfed in flames when they arrived. Lanes were closed for about 5 hours. We still don't know the name of the person killed or the other driver involved. A heads up for drivers ahead of Monday morning's commute. The 400 block of North Lake Street will be closed starting at 7 a.m. tomorrow. Construction crews will take down the tower site at the tower crane at the site of the new UW Music Performance Center. That's the block between State Street and University Avenue. The State Street campus parking garage will still be open, but you'll have to come in through the Langdon Street entrance. And now here's Chris with your first alert forecast. Hey, Chris.
Good morning, Josh. We are expecting a beautiful day for your Sunday. It'll be pretty much a carbon copy of yesterday, though slightly different in terms of we will have that chance of a pop-up shower or thunderstorm into the afternoon and evening. Hazy skies out there right now. Temperatures already are in the mid-60s. Dew points also coming up a little bit as well as more moisture starts to work its way in from the south and southwest. Temperatures elsewhere pretty much all in the mid-60s. Some lower 60s showing up. You work your way towards Camp Douglas. It's 61 degrees right now, 67 over towards La Crosse. Decorah, Iowa, also at 66 degrees this morning. Back to the south and west, we are all in the 60s. The only places cooler are up north, Marquette at 46, Superior at 47 right now. It'll be a uniform temperature deal today. Temperatures for your highs will work up to the 80s and then cool off into the upper 70s as you start to get into the dinner time hours. That's also because we'll have the slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm that may cool off the air. Not everyone will see these showers or thunderstorms today. Most of us will be pretty much sunny and beautiful, but a few of you will get in on a pop shower or two into the afternoon and evening. No worries. As soon as that thunderstorm goes up, it'll likely rain itself out. Traffic continues to look absolutely amazing this morning. No delays whatsoever have been there to report. Downtown looks good. All of the Beltline highways look good. The interstate looks good as well. It was slow from Sauk City to Middleton earlier this morning, but even that has now cleared. Instead of taking about 30 minutes, it'll take you about 15 to 16. Josh.
All right, Chris, good news all around. Thank you.
My pleasure.
We are heading into the final day of play for golfers in the AmFam Insurance Championship at University Ridge, and host Steve Stricker is hoping for a better day than yesterday. But first, Madison native Jerry Kelly had a good Saturday, nailing the birdie putt on the 17th hole to end with 4 birdies on the day. On the 18th hole, defending champ Fred Couples sank a putt, landing him among the top bunch too. It was Edgerton native Stricker who had some struggles on the green Saturday, ending with 3 bogeys and 1 birdie for the day. Stricker dropped to 14th place Saturday, shooting a 74. Jerry Kelly is 1 stroke above him and is tied for 6th. Esteban Toledo soared up 15 spots Saturday for the outright lead, but it's very close competition throughout. The leaders tee off on the front 9 later this morning at 11 a.m. While the pros were doing some serious golfing, some other big names were drawing big crowds at University Ridge Saturday. A hot attraction, the celebrity scramble of former Packers quarterback Brett Favre, 2-time U.S. Open champion Andy North, 5-time World Series champion Derek Jeter and Hall of Famer Lee Trevino. Favre and North were paired up together while Jeter was with Trevino, who showed he still has those putting skills. North and Stricker have been a part of this tournament from the very beginning. 2018 World Cup play continues, and Russia has seen a sharp increase in beer sales ever since it began. Beer is not very popular among the Russians compared with other types of drinks, and over the past decade, its sales have fallen by nearly 30%, mainly because of restrictions on sales and advertising. However, in just a few days, sales have shot up surprisingly fast thanks to the World Cup, leaving many local residents, stores, and brewers unprepared.
We sell in a day about 3,000 liters a day. That's about 6,000 cups of beer.
That is a lot of beer. He says about 3 days ago, his restaurant ran out of beer altogether. He says he's surprised because he believed soccer fans would buy their traditional favorites, tequila or vodka. 7:36 this morning. The 4th of July holiday is one of the busiest travel times of the year, and while millions of people choose to fly, millions more hit the roads. In Wisconsin, there are plenty of spots within driving distance to enjoy the upcoming holiday. We'll have your 4th of July travel deals for every budget when News 3 This Morning Sunday continues.
We continue to track that sunshine this morning, though there is the possibility of a shower or thunderstorm developing into the afternoon. Temperatures in the 60s right now. We'll reach 75 by lunchtime into the peak heating of the day. 80 degrees will likely be the high for many. That is when there is the chance of a shower or thunderstorm. Coming up in full weather, I'll break down not only that rain chance, but of course, the bigger rain chance that we have towards Tuesday of this week.
All right, Chris. Well, feeling like heat out there, and the 4th of July season is right around the corner. Nearly 47 million Americans are expected to travel 50 miles or more. That's the highest travel volume the country has seen in 18 years, according to AAA. They're even dubbing the day before the 4th Terrible Tuesday because traffic congestion is expected to be at its peak then. Of course, I'm going to be traveling.
Exactly. And here in Wisconsin, more than 1 million people are expected to travel this holiday, but they don't have to go far to have fun this 4th of July.
We're joined by Brad Pavlovsky this morning, who has some feasible, nearly affordable options for family to spend the 4th of July. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me, guys.
So obviously 4th of July, it's kind of the biggest summer holiday. A lot of people take time off that week. What do you kind of recommend for people to check out around the area?
Well, I'd love them to come up to Castle Rock Lake, where it's a close destination. It's about 1 hour from Madison. We offer a lot of amenities at the lake. Castle Rock is one of Wisconsin's largest lakes. It's a lake that never really gets crowded. There's something for everyone at Castle Rock.
So, you know, what are some of the things that people are usually looking for during the summertime, and what do you guys have to offer?
Well, what we do, guys, is we offer affordable and accessible lakefront living. We're offering homes and lakefront properties, sand beaches, inexpensive building, and there's also, you know, Castle Rock Lake with all the amenities on it. It's one of Wisconsin's largest lakes. There's great boating, fishing, kayaking, hiking, and lots of ATV trails in the area.
Now, what about all the families in the area? Let's say you have small kids, you're concerned about swimming and things like that. Maybe they're not the strongest swimmer. What are some of the things that they could do?
Oh, that's perfect. That's what we specialize in. All of our properties, and a lot of them in the area, have sand beaches. They're small private lakes where you don't have to worry about boats or jet skis cruising by. And there's a real slow, gradual slope into the water, so the kids love playing on the beaches. We have clubhouses set up with playgrounds and small water parks.
I think one of the cool things with Wisconsin is you really don't have to travel far to get to these places, right?
Absolutely. We're less than 30 minutes from the Wisconsin Dells, about 1 hour from Madison, and about 2 hours from the Milwaukee area.
So if people are interested in checking you guys out, I'm sure you have some more information online.
Absolutely. They can come visit us at castlerocklake.com, get a hold of us, and come up and visit us.
I'm guessing 4th of July is probably one of the busier times of the week, or busier times of the summer.
Absolutely. There are 8 lakefront bars and restaurants on the lake. There will be a lot of live music. There's a big boat bash going on that weekend. There's even an Elvis Presley lookalike contest at one of the bars. It'll be a blast.
All right. Now, what are some of the things you can do if you are on any budget?
You can come up. There's campgrounds. The state park is an 8,000-acre state park. There's inexpensive remote camping where you can go in with your tents. There's campsites set up. There's quite a few things to do where it's virtually free. You just have to find a place to stay and get out on the lake. All
right, and I have to ask you, what is your favorite thing to do on the lake? If you had to recommend anything.
Yeah. Most likely the boating. The boating's fantastic, and I also like hanging out on my beach with several of my dogs. It's a great time.
All right,
sounds
pet
like
friendly as well.
Fun for everybody.
Absolutely.
All right, so again, if people are interested, what's your website and how can they reach out?
castlerocklake.com. Contact us through our website and come up and you can meet with me or with my younger brother. We'll show you around and give you a feel for the area.
All right, thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Still to come this morning, for more on holiday getaways, you can also pick up the 40th anniversary edition of Madison magazine for all the best happening in and around the Madison area. Well, that sun is finally out and things are starting to warm up outside. We're going to have that first full week of summer upon us.
That's right, and it might finally start to feel like summer again, especially as we get you into the end of next week. I'll have your full forecast coming up just ahead.
Here's a look at Who's 3 today.
Happy Sunday. I'm happy to report another beautiful day is in store for us here in South Central Wisconsin. In fact, all of Wisconsin. Here's a live look at the Capitol. No clouds even noted across the skies right now. Temperatures are quickly warming up this morning. Already 65 degrees, dew points at 60, so it's going to feel at least a little bit more humid today as opposed to yesterday. It won't be unbearable, but you'll notice just a little bit more moisture in the atmosphere. 70 already in Monroe and Janesville, so the temperatures are ramping on up already today. 67 as you work your way over towards Viroqua and La Crosse, Wisconsin. No showers or thunderstorms showing up on Doppler track here in Wisconsin this morning. We're paying attention to this line of showers and thunderstorms across northern Iowa through southwestern Minnesota. That will be gradually working its way to the east. It'll actually fall apart before it gets here, but it could be just enough of an impulse to spark some showers and thunderstorms for us into the evening, especially as we get you towards the peak heating. By 12:30, you may see some showers and thunderstorms popping up. I think that's a bit overdone, but a few may pop up. Just as quickly as they do so, they will rain themselves out. We'll lose a lot of that fuel for thunderstorms into the afternoon and late evening once the sun begins to set below the horizon. A bigger rain chance arrives towards the start of next week, especially on Tuesday. We're awaiting a very slow-moving region of low pressure that's going to be working its way to the east. A southwesterly wind behind that warm front that'll be coming in on Monday night. Southeasterly winds out ahead of that. That's when you'll notice some showers and thunderstorms possible for us here towards Tuesday morning. Those will begin to overspread the region into Tuesday afternoon as we'll zoom in closer and closer. Pay attention to Monday night. That's when the showers and thunderstorms will move in from the south and west. By Tuesday morning, pretty much everyone has that chance for some showers and thunderstorms. Those will linger through Tuesday night and early Wednesday as the region of low pressure pretty much tracks right on top of us here in south central Wisconsin. No rain expected today other than that slight chance that we do have later on. Temperatures rising from the 60s to 75 by lunchtime, and then by the evening we'll see your highs right around 80 degrees, and that is when there's that slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm. It'll take till the evening for that to get here. Additional rain chances do arrive Monday night with temperatures staying in the 70s. On Tuesday, we do have a better rain chance. 80s returning by the time we get you into Wednesday. By Friday, 90 degrees with the heat index making a comeback. So that sounds gross. Upper 80s will linger towards the end of the 10-day forecast. This is a pleasant weekend. Monday and Tuesday, other than the rain chances, are pleasant as well. I will be honest, I'm not looking forward to that 90 next week, but
you know,
it's okay.
It was nice to get a break from the rain. It was nice to get a break from the heat and humidity, but it is summer in Wisconsin. So.
It is summer in Wisconsin, and the weather is always changing. Mother Nature likes to keep it spicy.
But it keeps you guys busy. We have to pay you for something, right?
It keeps us busy, so I need a job. Thank you, Mother Nature.
All right, Chris, thank you. Be sure to stick with News 3 throughout the day. Tonight at 5:30 and 10, temperatures across the area are finally expected to head up, and we're heading to the Summer Solstice Festival to celebrate the season. But first, you can't help who you fall in love with, even if he's bearded and covered in scales. One family's adoption journey that's probably unlike you've ever seen. Next on News 3 This Morning Sunday. And welcome back at 7:54. One family's pet turned into a cross-country traveler after hitching a ride on his bike.
Nicole Comstock explains how his tumultuous travels finally landed him a forever home.
We are so ready for you. Yes, we are.
You can't help who you fall in love with, even if he's cold-blooded and covered in scales.
At first, it was really horrifying, actually. It was scary. It was like, what is this?
The story goes, this bearded dragon hitched a ride in a mountain bike box. Chris and Al Brummett say it was delivered to their Hemet home. They purchased it from Walmart for their granddaughter. But they say when they opened the bike in their backyard, the reptile fell out in a pile of bike parts.
And then we got to thinking about it. It was like, well, the box said made in China.
They can do quite well for, a week without food.
In the nearly 2 weeks since, Riverside County Animal Services hasn't been able to track down where he came from. So with no owners coming forward, they decided the bearded dragon didn't need to travel any farther. When the shelter asked Chris and Al if they were interested in adopting this little guy, they realized he was probably meant to be with them.
Since then, we've been doing a lot of research, and we've built a habitat for him.
A climate-controlled custom enclosure. And as soon as he got home Tuesday, he lounged on his hammock under a heat lamp and then had some snacks.
We've got Dubai roaches, which are supposed to be one of the best, and we've got some of these super waxworms or something like that.
They've decided to name him Falkor after the luck dragon from the 1984 film The Never-Ending Story.
They're looking to have this very fun, scaly friend for a long time in their family.
We reached out to Falkor about his epic journey that made news across the country, but he had no comment.
Yeah, we'll get y'all settled down here soon. Get your
That bearded dragon is living a better life than me on the hammock.
I was gonna say, I think he's got a good life ahead of him right there.
That's right. And, if you want to lay out on the hammock today, it won't be a bad day to do it either. This morning, temperatures rising towards 75 degrees by lunchtime. This afternoon, temperatures reaching 80 degrees, so it might not be a bad idea to hit the pool either. The thing is, stay weather aware. We do have a chance of an isolated shower or thunderstorm going up. Not everyone will get wet by any means. Temperature trends over the next 10 days, though, they get spicy once again. Ooh. I know, I like that word spicy for some reason today, but that's just how it is. Here's what's relaxing. Paisley and Belleville absolutely looking gorgeous on the water there. We could see some showers around 3 o'clock. Hit or miss, not everyone getting in on that. Temperature is right around 80 degrees.
All right, Chris, thank you, and thanks so much for joining us. Have a wonderful Sunday.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.